Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon all of you. This is Mimuna Mohamed, and I just wanted to share a bit of my story in regards to the justice for Mimuna Mohamed and my long journey for justice. It's been long because this has been going on almost my entire life, and it started since I was a child, so it's been a long journey. But I will talk about what happened or events leading to the one of the last major incidents that took place here in Canada, in Toronto. And so it started off with a classmate of mine at York University who would follow me around constantly. He joined a study group and we were in the same class, and he would just follow me around everywhere. And he even said he converted to Islam, and so he needed to know where I was all the time. As soon as I set foot on campus, he was there. He knew every class I was taking. He knew, obviously, like, he befriended me, and me being who I am, I wasn't suspicious of anything. I was being me. I was being who I am, despite how long this has been going on. And that's one of the things I've always promised myself. I would never lose who I am. I would never lose my humanity and the way I carry myself and my character. So I was still the same. And so this individual, knowing that I was majoring in psychology, began to tell me that he was suffering from mental health issues, or he said he would have these episodes where he would just go into this violent rage, and his parents were very afraid and they would just run from him, and he had no one to help him, and he needed my help. Knowing who I was, and I guess observing my character for quite some time, he took advantage of that. And so I began to try to advocate for him through the mental health system by suggesting that he goes to a psychiatrist and a psychologist to see if they can assist him. There was one night where he claimed that he had a huge mental health crisis where he was trying to commit suicide. And I was on the phone and I can hear there were cars, and I was talking to him, but I didn't know what was really happening, right? I didn't know where he was or what was really happening. But in all honesty, whenever I saw him, he was always in the best of health. I've known him for several years at school, and I have never seen him in crisis. I have never bear witness, and he was around me all the time, right? And I was at school. I used to study 7 days a week. Even on the weekends, I went to school just to study. I'm a lifelong learner, a student my whole life. I love studying. Even as a child, during the summers, in the evenings, I've spent that time at the library. So this was not unusual for me, and I was at the best time. It was the best time of my life. I was in full pursuit of my education. It was always my dream to become a psychologist, and I was going towards that dream. I was working towards that dream. And so even during the attacks with the Toronto Police Services, I was offered a graduate research program at a graduate level, even though I was completing my undergrad at the time. And so I started reading up on psychology since I was a child, and so I was always an overachiever. This was, a program that I was so much in love with, and so and this was what was interrupted and taken from my life by these individuals who purposely plotted, planned, and executed this plan. And so this individual, when I went to an appointment with him, and he insisted that I actually go into these medical appointments with him, the whole conversation, he would try to flip the whole conversation on me, so these individuals evaluate me instead of him. And so these were my red flags. And then even when the days that I didn't go with him because I was busy with my life, which were very rare because I thought I was really advocating for someone in trouble, so I always try to make it to his appointments, and this is what he took advantage of. But anyway, he would say, "Oh, we talked about you in my appointments." I'm like, "What? Really?" So this individual continued this act for quite some time. And I started to distance myself from this person. He even claimed being a Muslim, and I noticed this didn't add up. So I distanced myself from this individual. And he came up to me still, and now he found another excuse. I was busy studying statistical math, and I was intimidated a little because everybody's like, "Oh, it's so hard," and they're dropping the psych program because of it. But anyway, and he's like, "Oh, I'll tutor you," and I said, "Okay, sure." And then I realized he didn't even know stats. And he was a history major. He didn't know stats. And so when I realized that, I said, "Hey, you're lying. You don't understand." I'm a very straightforward person. I'm like, "You don't understand this math in my class, and you can't tutor me something you don't even know." And I even told him, "I see a lot of pretense in everything you're doing in terms of his behavior." And I was able to analyze that, and I said, I don't even think you're truly Muslim. I feel like you're pretending." He was. And because he skipped out on a lot of the Friday prayers, he didn't go to the MSA, and it was like, okay, and he wasn't very proactive. If you're Muslim, and usually the behavior of new Muslim converts, they're very proactive, they're trying to learn, but he wasn't. And so it was just a word of mouth, and he realized that, and I caught him, and when I caught him, he actually threw back the Quran he said he got from a local bookstore, and these are all evidence, but anyway, and so a lot of things. And so when I caught him, he just threw these stuff back at me and went on his way, and I thought that was the end of it. But then he started this whole thing where he was like, he's having a crisis, and he would call me nonstop. He would text, he would email, he would message. And when I drew the line and the boundary of closing these avenues of him contacting me, and I made it very clear, and I said, "Please do not contact me," he escalated it and involved the police. And so this was something that was building. Even before, though, he called the police, there were other things happening around me as well at my place of residence. So there was involvement from one of the building superintendents who came to my home on the weekend, and he was asking me questions about what I do, who I am. So there was a lot of surveillance that was happening at my place of residence. There was always surveillance at my place of residence. One of the superintendents would follow me around. Every time I leave, every time I come home, somebody would always follow me around. I never took it as anything. I just kind of ignored it and went about my way. I always minded my business, kept it to myself. The superintendent would be, he would give looks. Sometimes he would make comments, and we all knew he was racist. He was racist from the moment we moved in. And so I never took it to heart. I just kept on moving. So all these things, right, were happening in relation, and they're all connected, and I will talk about the connection as well. But all these things and issues were moving towards my big takedown, right? And so and then that weekend, police comes by my house the weekend before the big takedown, and they're claiming that there's some issue at my house, but really there wasn't. And one of the cops just walked right into my house. There was Quran playing, and he literally pulled the Quran player, the plug, from the wall. He had no warrant. He had no reason to enter my home. I did not give him permission. He just went past me while I was standing at the door, questioning why he was at my door. And he just helped himself to turn off my Quran. So they had an issue with the Quran playing at my house. And it wasn't even loud. So it's not like any of the neighbors complained. Most of the neighbors are Muslims. So I didn't know, right? So there was a lot going on. So this was just, there was a lot of pre-surveillance before there was the final takedown. So moving on to the actual day, March 18th, 2015, I will actually talk about that on the next video. Please follow my journey for justice at Justice for Mimuna Mohamed. Please like and share all of my videos. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Justice for Mimuna Mohamed. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and TikTok. I need to get this message out there. I need all of my fellow Canadians to know the great injustice that I have experienced, and my family has experienced, and my community has experienced, and we need to end this injustice against people who are Black, people who are Muslim being attacked based on anti-Black racism and Islamophobia. This must end, and we must demand justice. So please follow me on all of my social media. And please, I have a petition going on. Do sign the petition on change.org. It's Justice for Mimuna Mohamed. You can also find the links in my bio. And stay conference and a rally. Please join me. I would greatly appreciate your support. Thank you for your time. Peace be upon all of you. Assalamu alaikum.